talk about aviation in general, there has been an explosive growth in aviation. Let's look at 1985. I used to go to Bangalore. Bangalore airport would have one aircraft. And if I see two aircraft, I'll go back and stay home. But yeah, today I saw two aircraft. Today you go to Bangalore and there are 100 aircraft. So this explosive growth has been unprecedented. But the knowledge growth has not been along with the growth in the aviation. So today, one point I'm making is that we do not have good reading material from where we learn about issues of aviation. So this compliments myself that you have really thought of this one. And the issue of and that the issue you have touched is aviation and foreign policy is an ultimate issue. There are a large number of small issues also which need to be tackled about, but let's come to this issue only. Let's talk about this issue. When we talk of aviation and foreign policy now, see, which changing times, the priorities of government have been changing. The environment also has been changing under which all these policies are framed. Look at 80s and 90s. At that time, the priority was just connect. Our exports should go up, people should go up, people should come in. We should make policies or services agreement, air services agreement, such a way that people are able to move in and move out. The same thing as a Kharola came, open skies policy for cargo. This was 80s and 90s. Then came the ASEAN opening 18 destinations worldwide. We thought that more number of people should come to our tourist destinations. If tourists come to these destinations, the economic activity picks up there. Perfect. That was the second leg. Now the thinking is different. Thinking today is that aviation per se is an economic activity. And India should get its pie in this economic activity. To give an example, the market between India and US of aviation is about $8 billion. That's the value of people, the ticket value. You'll be surprised to know Indian carriers account for only 15%. Now, when we talk of that our GDP will grow, how will it grow? I'm just giving one example. Same thing with Europe. Same thing with Australia and all. We account for only 10 to 15%. So our policy should be so directed that at least Baba gave us half the share. If I buy a ticket today to US and if I fly an American airline, the value of my ticket gets added to the GDP of US. If I go via Emirates, the GDP of Emirates goes up by the value of the ticket. Now, and these are other new considerations which are coming up now. Now, I think a very nice point was made about there may be divergence between foreign policy or civil aviation policy. Well, yes, superficially it appears there is divergence. But just go deeper and see there cannot be any divergence. It is part of the government functioning. These are different views. Now, the example which was given was that yes, sometimes strategic requirements involve give and take. But we should know what is the value of give and what is the value of take. That balancing has to be there. That cannot be done by Air India being in public sector. It's a government decision and government should say yes, because of this we are doing it. But we have to be careful what we give and what we take. What we normally take from these countries is a one-time benefit. And what we give is a benefit, a long-term benefit, which might even be a benefit in perpetuity. Now, I'm sure there can be no divergence in this, that there cannot be imbalance between the give and take. Yes, people have to be brought in from Dubai, we will bring them. If they have to be given something in lieu of that, we will give them. But how much? Can this benefit be in perpetuity? Therefore, this very much required there has to be total convergence between the foreign policy, I would say between the economic policy, foreign policy is part of that, and the aviation policy. Now, what's happened over here is that, let's talk of open air policy of cargo. 90s we gave open air policy, but we should make these policies with a sunset clause. After 5 years, let's come back here, let's discuss again. Let's go for a new one. Things are changing, it's dynamic environment. At that time my priorities were different. This open air policy in cargo, you just see only foreign freighters coming to India, and Indian airlines do not have a single international freight. Now, had these policies been, as I said, that in give and take, yes, at that time we required, it should have been said very clearly that yes, okay, for the first 10 years, after 10 years, please come back. Have other countries given an open air policy? Answer is no. So, my first point is that all these policy decisions should be taken with a time horizon in mind. These policies are relevant for a particular point of time, and after that they have to be relooked, they have to be renegotiated, and nothing can be given in perpetuity. That was the first point I was trying to make. The second was about, I think, Mr. Satkar just mentioned was about Udan scheme, and how can we even have, as Udan scheme domestically doing pretty well, can we have an Udan scheme for international also? I'm sorry, for international also. There, yes, let me share this thought that we did try an international Udan scheme, but there are serious problems in that. The thing is that can we between two destinations we will subsidize our carriers. The bigger issue remains. Now other people will say, they complain to ICAO that if you subsidize your carriers, please subsidize my carrier also, because we have signed in ICAO saying that we will provide a level playing field. So state-based subsidy becomes difficult, but yes, there can be other modes of facilitating that. Means reduce the charges, reduce the expenses, landing charges and navigation charges. All that could be done as far as Udan is concerned. And now let's talk of the traffic rights. Now I would say that traffic rights, India being a huge country, we have a huge leverage available in form of traffic rights. So we should use it very, very cautiously, very, very selectively. Now, India being a huge market, to give a simple example, now even in COVID crisis, airlines of big countries, they disappeared. India was the only country where no airline went down. That was because of our domestic size. We are a big country. And I don't think maybe 2-3 countries are like us, which have a huge domestic market also. If we talk of the neighboring hubs which have come up, and let's talk of the Middle East or this side in the ASEAN countries, they are small countries. So they can never be a match to the problems and challenges and the opportunities which India has. So because we are a big country, it's time that all our future aviation policies, the services agreement, are made keeping that in mind. So past has happened. Now, 20 years back it was only Air India which used to fly international. When Air India was flying, as we all know, any carrier in government fold cannot be nimble-footed to take on international carriers of other countries. Now things have changed. Now today we have big airlines. Our biggest carrier has 300 aircraft, and shortly we will have maybe 1,000 aircraft flying in the country. Now this is the time. We have to support these carriers to go abroad, and we have to ensure that they get their rightful place when they fly abroad. Today we find a huge amount of discrimination because it's all economics. Operating an airline, because we are a huge market, the airlines or that country gets a huge pie, and we have given them a lot of space. They have moved in. Now we have to recover this space from those carriers. But a difficult job. The hubs around us, I have they've just come up because our hubs never came up. Now is the time. Let's look at airports. Maybe about 10 years back, we had only 70 airports in the country. You add last 10 years, we have 140 airports in the country. Look at the big airports we have. We are reaching a stage where each of our big cities will have 2 airports. Delhi second airport is coming, Mumbai second airport is coming, Bangalore second airport is coming. So we are reaching that stage. So this is the time that I would say